getting to other results, Roy Jones Jr. thoroughly dominates Felix Tito Trinidad, drops him in 7 and 10, did not knock him out, did not stop him like I thought he would. I really thought he'd stop him. I really thought he'd want to show up Bernard Hopkins. He seemed to back off of him, though. First time he knocked him down, he seemed to go after him some, a little, but nowhere near enough like he should have done. Did not go after the knockdown like he needed to at all. But, you know, that's Jones for you. Not the first time we've seen that. I scored it 11 rounds to 1 for Roy Jones. Could have maybe seen Trinidad at the absolute most 3 rounds. Does Trinidad need to fight anymore? Ultimately, I don't think so. He's just going to be someone to get beat by people. I don't see him winning any significant fights. I think he needs to just retire. He doesn't need another Hasim Sharifi type fight. Or if he does fight, that's the only kind of fights he needs, because he doesn't need to get in there with Hopkins again. He doesn't need to get in there with Tarver, anyone like that. He doesn't need to go to middleweight and try to fight someone like Duddy. So, what are you going to do? Just go ahead and retire. Stay retired, Trinidad. You're a legendary fighter. You've got plenty of money. By the way, Jones vs. Trinidad did over 500,000 pay-per-view buys. That means Roy Jones made a lot of money. And I believe if the fight, he took a gamble and said that his pay would come directly from pay-per-view buys, where he needed 250,000 buys to get 15 million, which was what Trinidad got for the fight. And it did over 500,000, so Jones made $30 million for that fight. So he made a very smart move, made probably the most money he's made in a fight from this fight. So great job, Roy Jones. Look forward to him fighting again. I'd love to see him get a rematch with Glenn Johnson, or fight Tarver again. I'd be for him fighting Tarver again. Or the Calzaghe versus Hopkins winner. If Hopkins wins, probably won't get that. If Calzaghe wins, I think they could come to an agreement and make a fight. Hopkins versus Jones, it just seems like Hopkins is not interested enough in that fight. He always says he is, but he always somehow screws up the negotiations in it, which is kind of Hopkins' thing anyhow. But I'd be all for Jones fighting any of them. Jones versus Chad Dawson, not so crazy about. Jones, you don't need that kind of man in your life anymore. We don't need Chad Dawson in our lives anymore. If you beat Chad Dawson, that adds a little to your legacy, but if you lose to him, it's not good. Because obviously if you were in your prime, you'd beat the hell out of Chad Dawson. As good as Chad Dawson is, you'd beat him. Can you beat him now? Yeah, I think Jones can beat Chad Dawson now. Will he? Dawson's really fast. He's got his legs under him. More than Jones does at this point, I think. I don't like that fight for Roy Jones right now. I could see Dawson getting the benefit from the judges in that one. They're not going to give Jones the benefit from the judges in that one. Jones would absolutely have to convincingly win that fight. If it's close at all, it probably goes to Dawson. I don't like that fight for Jones. Anyhow, also on that undercard, Alex Bonima beat Roman Karmazan. Knocked him out, 10th round TKO. Karmazan, I believe. I don't know who the favorite was. I thought Karmazan was. But he dropped him twice. 10th round, you could tell it was over. From the first knockdown, it was like, oh boy, here we go. So Roman Karmazan, whatever you want to call him, probably out of the picture now. Alex Bonima, we'll see what happens with him. Probably not much, but you know. Luis Collazo got a 10th round unanimous decision win. Not shown, of course. Also, Devin Alexander. Devin Alexander looked really impressive against DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. Didn't get him out of there, but no shame in that. Most guys haven't. Zab Judah didn't. Floyd Mayweather didn't. But they both clearly beat him. So did Devin Alexander. He's only I think he's 14-0 now, 15-0, something like that. Good win, good step up, Corley. Unless you're content to be a gatekeeper, which you've become, you need to retire also. Or maybe Corley versus Randall Bailey. Maybe they could fight, but I think Bailey would beat him right now. And, let's see, also, Ruslan Chagayev fought a very boring unanimous decision, 12-round unanimous decision victory over Matt Skelton. Struggled a little much early, but after the first 3 or so rounds, it was Chagayev all the way. Skelton, too old. I don't know why he's boxing, but, you know. Anyhow, Ruslan Chagayev keeps his portion of the heavyweight titles. Del Futuro, we had Hugo Cesares, 10th round unanimous decision win over his opponent. Hugo Cesares, of course, trying to get in line to fight Calderon again. Don't see the point in it, but whatever. And the Velasquez brothers, whom they're trying to shove down our throats, I don't know, we'll see what happens with them. Carlos Velasquez got a first-round TKO. He fights at 140 right now. We'll see what happens with him. And Juan Velasquez, featherweight, got a 4th-round TKO. Again, we'll just have to see what happens with him. Couldn't tell much from Carlos. He had a first-round knockout. One got dropped in the first round. It was a questionable knockdown, but he came back and did fine. It didn't really bother him, but, you know, we'll have to see what happens with him. Then Danny Jacobs, first-round knockout. This guy, I think, will at the very least, be a title holder. Whether he's the actual champ or not, don't know, too early to tell, but definitely a title holder in the future. Keep your eyes out for Danny Jacobs. And that's all the results for right now. Let's go into some news. Okay, starting out with the biggest piece of news, to me, Mike Tyson says he might come back again. He wants to fight Evander Holyfield for a 3rd time. That's the fight he wants. Holyfield said he's on board for it, that he'll do it. So don't be too surprised if in 2008 or in 2009, 2008 or 9, probably 2008, we see Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield probably toward the end of this year. I hope not. I don't want to see that fight. I think Holyfield beats Tyson again. Kevin McBride beat you, Tyson. Kevin McBride. Holyfield would beat Kevin McBride right now. Holyfield went 12 rounds, successfully went 12 rounds with Sultan Ibragimov, he's not super fast, but he's he's got some speed to him. Had more speed to him than Holyfield did, and Holyfield lasted against him, and he's got some power. Holyfield lasted against that. Tyson didn't last against Kevin McBride years ago. I don't think Tyson needs to get in the ring again. He's just going to lose again. And I don't want to go through that again. Being the Tyson fan that I am, I don't want to see Tyson lose again. And if he wins, people will say, well, it's just an old Holyfield anyhow, so there's really no need for it except money. There's no need for it whatsoever. I hope it doesn't happen. If it does happen, Tyson, I hope you pull off a miracle and you knock Holyfield out.